we all know that enterprise software, well, we don't all know, but we should all know, enterprise software is not always that interesting. It's not always that sexy, and it's not always definitely fun. And on this show, we have an amazing lineup of guests who are going to help us put the fun back into enterprise software.
Enterprise software is boring, right? But our job is to make it sexy because it's embedded everywhere, right? You think about a transaction, right? You think about what's happening, with an order. You think about what's happening with a customer number. I mean, all this stuff is in the back end, but it's got to work, right? So what's the new stuff? It's all the stuff that we were engaging with. It's all the stuff that we're bringing out to actually create some value from. It's all the data inside these systems, right, that we're giving you insights, that we're giving you analytics that you're going to use that we never got to, right? So this is why enterprise software is boring, but the point is, what do we do with it? That's the part that's exciting.
Get right down to the basis of how CIOs are becoming strategists. I think you have to start looking at the ones that are in customer-centric businesses and the ones that can bring the customer directly into the overall purchasing process. And I think that those are the ones that show the greatest opportunity, the greatest potential for growth. And see, I think the best CIOs are really business strategists right now. And they have their eyes on the C-suite. They want to be eventually CEOs. They want to get out of being paid to mitigate risk. So I think that you look across the spectrum of these companies, and I think that those are the ones that are winning. And incidentally, I think that they realize that change management and that people are driving the digital transformation. Let's not go all Spock, Let's just not go all Spock and coldly rational, because the minute you do that, you get into price competition, and then you start getting into feature function benefit analysis. And people, when you go into a Spock mode of mindset, I've seen people just drive the cost of the value of software right through the floor. Whereas if you can engage and show the value of people, I think that retains the value as well.
If a client came to you, Esteban, and said, give us advice on how to be more relevant to our customers, what would you tell them? What would be your advice?
What do your customers want?
That's it.
I can't tell you to be more relevant if I don't know who your customers are, what they want, how they interact with you, what you can offer, what's the value that they get from what you do, what's the value that you get from what you do, and how do you create long-term engagement. This is all like, a very complex model that we're entering into, something that we never had to do in the past. I mean, if you look at the history of business never had to worry about engaging with customers over the long run. That was never an issue. This is the first time in the history, in the last 10 years, the business actually needs to worry about retaining their customers.
The scalability aspects of intelligence are going to beat out the scalability aspects of brute force labor any day. Any day. That's going to win. So I think that we're kind of in this world of competing on economic cycles that are driven by information accuracy and velocity more than dealing with an agrarian brute force, just ship it off to Foxconn and have them put together the iPad for $5. You have to earn the right to sell again. I mean, and that's why relationships are so important. That's why customer relationship, you have to earn the right to stay in business now. Competitiveness is so high, you got to earn it. You just got to earn the opportunity to sell again.
We're seeing the cloud as being one piece of many pieces.
Yes.
As we go digital, using the digital buzzword, right? It's how does cloud interface with mobile? What does cloud do with social? What do you do with cloud and big data, right? All that kind of that convergence is actually happening, and this goes back to those broader pieces of systems of record, systems of engagement. I mean, this is why we're putting out the Constellation Outlook. Probably next week, and we're going to send it to select level of C-level executives. And what it really is taking a futurist framework and looking at what's next. And on the technology side, we see systems of engagement moving to systems of mass personalization, right? And how do you get there, right? It requires context. It requires being able to right time delivery. It requires some level of scale. And these things are happening. You see in ad technologies, you see in augmented reality, you see cryptocurrencies, you see it in payment technologies, digital wallets. I mean, these things are popping up. We see networks actually coming back to the cloud, right? Isolated networks are connected to sensor-based and analytical ecosystems. These things are churning out tons of data, kind of stuff that you guys do, Vala, right? This is creating information that people are using to do something else with and getting some insights, but it's also happening on the consumer side. smart machines, wearables, right, household appliances. It's changing kind of the world we're living. We're building these big mesh networks. And then the last piece is this piece that does worry me a lot, back to some of the earlier point, is there are these systems that are going to move to a cognitive level, which is taking artificial intelligence and natural language processing and dynamic learning and hypothesis generation, and it's helping people make, I guess, computer-guided decisions for humans, or what we're calling augmented humanity. But what does that mean? Do we lose jobs in medicine and accountants and lawyers? Where do they go? Do they just get smarter? Do we have less jobs in their place?
Yeah.
This is the automation that's happening.
Why is enterprise software so damn boring, and how can it be made sexy?
Ray's in his Tesla, yes.
And
But in a
Esteban, show us your shirt before we go. I might
Keep it on, though. Keep it on. Keep it on.
This is commoditized. Everybody knows this.
And I'm wearing my colorful African outfit.
Great.
And with that, we want to say goodbye. Thank you for watching, and please come back again next time.